Good morning, everyone. It's James Carpenter with Country Living. I woke up this morning. It was a beautiful day, so I thought I'd come out and take a walk around the yard. Right here, we're looking at potatoes in a raised garden bed. Flowers. Now, they look pretty beat up, but it rained hard last night. I think once the sun hits them, they'll fluff back up. And here we have strawberries, which I transplanted from another location, which is over here. There's a video on that where the whole bed was dug up and all the weeds, and tried to get all the grass out of there. We got most of it. This is the backyard. If you look, the grass was freshly cut yesterday. There's some baby pine trees over there that look good. This is out by the front of the office building. This is a little flower bed with some nice looking rocks. The grass I mowed all day yesterday, and I'm glad I got it mowed because the storm last night dumped quite a bit of rain water on everything. So we'll just mosey down a driveway here. Now if you look back in the distance, you can see another rock. I kind of favor rocks, so you probably noticed that by now. Now the mulch around the trees, that's all part of them arborist wood chips. There's a nice looking pine right there. But they go down both sides of the driveway. The wood chips mulch, I call it, is all over the property. But it has allowed me not to have to weed eat and mow around all these trees. It's a huge time saver. There's another rock out there. I think you can see it. These are the baby pine trees I planted a couple weeks ago. There's a video on that. Now, what you see in the background there is part of the original farm. Originally, it was it was one of those where they served in the military, and then they gave them land for their pay because they couldn't afford to pay them. I think they call it the Virginia Military Grant, but it was a 36-acre farm, which meant the guy was probably enlisted. If he was an officer, it'd be considerably more acres. But my parents purchased the property, the 36 acres, in 1972. And obviously it's been a little bit subdivided since then. Now I've been working on, look at this, that storm last night, it blew some branches out of the trees. And I know I throwed it off to the side, but when I come by with the bucket, I'll pick it up and dispose of it, put it in the burn pile. But the grass, look how rich and green it is. You don't see a single yellow flower in there anywhere. I do a really good job of maintaining the lawn. Now that building right there is a little pole barn my dad and I built in 1973. Come on now, back up, Jim. There, the little white one. White building, that is. Now you see that water standing on the right-hand side. I still have a little bit of a drainage issue. I got a low spot right there, which I'm going to figure out how to take care of that problem. But it's not horrible. At least the water flows now. It flows down the mulch, clear down to the county road. Here's another broken limb out of a tree. That one's been there for a while. Obviously it's dead already. I planted all those trees you're seeing right here along the edge of this road. They were just single little stick. They were seedlings. And that was back in 1985. So from 85 till now, this is how big the trees got. Now some of the smaller ones you see in the driveway, they are replacements for trees that have died and so on. We're coming up on what I call the retention pond. Here's another branch that got blowed out of the trees during the night. And then look at that gravel. That's actually not gravel, that's that slag material. And it makes the best driveways. I'll tell you what, I can't say it enough, but I don't have any potholes. I don't have any mud working up through the gravel and getting on people's cars. So now we're coming up on the waterway, and yesterday I did some work on this mulch, and the day before that I put some more slag material in the bottom of this retention pond, and I used the water that was laying in there as a level line, and I raked it all out and got it all leveled. So that, obviously you can't see it now, it's full of water, but it does look good. I mulched this side of the driveway a little bit right there because I had a bunch of weeds. I had sprayed them, they were dying, but I wanted to just cover that mess up and prevent more weeds from coming through. That's the sign that I built a few years ago for the automotive repair business. This is some more of that touch-up mulch area. Now you can see the gravel right there in that black tile. And I put a coat in the bottom of it to get everything level. And evidently it's still just a little bit lower in the retention pond than it is at the exit pipe. But I don't mind that. I look at that as a rain gauge. I can see how much water's in the retention pond and have a really good idea how much rain we got overnight or over the day, whatever the case may be. That's more of that slag material around the edge of the rocks, and that's there to reduce weed eating, basically. That truck just sped by. I figured I'd give you a shot of that as it jetted by. Now that grass, I did this about 3 years ago. I replaced all the grass with 90-some%, almost 100% Kentucky bluegrass. And that's the reason that yard looks so green and so rich. And as far as the mowing goes, I've got that Z-Master zero-turn commercial grade. I mow with the deck all the way up. So what you're looking at is grass that's been cut with the deck all the way up. And I've said it in other videos, but it's healthier for your lawn if you mow high, is the only thing I'll say. Now, this is in front of the old farmhouse. That's the county road. I keep my portion of that mowed on both sides, by the way. Now, to the right of the driveway, that old looking tree right there, first that fence post is from the original farm. There's one there and there's one clear down at the other end behind my place. But this little stump, basically, you see on the right hand side, the only reason that's still there, here's another one of them baby pines. The only reason that is still there is because the bees were living in it. So the tree was cut down, and I put a top on it because the tree's kind of hollowed out, and the bees have been living there ever since. And it used to be when I mowed around those bees, oh my goodness, they'd chase me and I'd have to run like heck. But over the years, they have gotten so used to the lawnmower, I can mow all the way around that tree and them things can be swarming and they don't bother me. That little patch of grass on the left was all mulch for quite a few years. It rotted down, so I seeded it. And I put some more of that slag material on this driveway down here. This driveway is actually asphalt, but it was, starting to show signs of extreme wear. So I put the slag material on top of it. And then, of course, this driveway here was pretty rough. I lined it with rocks and put gravel in there. And that little spot with the white pipe, that's the new well. Now the white buildings at Pole Barn I talked about earlier, and I subsequently overhauled that and incorporated a shipping container and HVAC. And in the slag, we're walking on a sidewalk that's made from slag. We went down probably about 6 inches or so and just filled that up with slag. There's the slag, and then to the left, that gravel near the shipping container, that's just part of the base that the shipping container sets on. Now this is a good looking little pine here. We're going around. That's my one trip 20-foot shipping container. That's a nice one. Doors work real well. That's the old well from the farm. I went ahead and built that top part on there. Alright, now we're going to look at a little sign as you go in. Nothing inside worth dying for. And that's a fact. It's just not worth it. There's some more little pines right there on the left in the mulch. That big rock, I got that from the farmer. He was going to bury it. I'm thinking, no, we're not burying that rock. So he took a dozer and he pushed it up on that hill for me, and it's been there for a few years now. Over there, that's the children's play area. I obviously have had my own children, my grandchildren. So I put that together for the grandkids, and it's actually for the public. If they come to get their car worked on, they can go out to the children's play area and sit on the swings with their kids or whatever they want to do. But I really like this sidewalk, I got to be honest with you. When I first got the other building established, I had to walk across the grass, and the grass would be wet sometimes, and then your feet would get a little bit wet. Here's another limb that blew out of the trees. But the sidewalk, I can walk all the way down to the other building. I can walk all the way down to the other house and not even touch the grass. Now we're back up around the main facility, the automotive repair shop, and the office, which is right there. The office and waiting room. And the Buckeye hut. That's just a little storage shed. I just put these out the other day. We do it every year. Put flowers out, improve the looks of the office. There's another one there. That's my YouTube sign. The bell is part of the original farm, and it used to be down at the farmhouse. And if you're not familiar with those bells, they were used for the wife to go out and ring the bell, and the husband would be out in the fields on the tractor, probably not a tractor, probably horses back then. And when the bell rang, the farmer knew it was time to eat. Now these old license plates, I got these at a yard sale one time. It was a really good find. They were already on this old board, and they got these bent looking nails in it and stuff. Somebody just made those up and probably had them sitting around their house for years, but now they're in my possession. And you can see that one says 1953 there. 72, that was a good year. But 67. And then here's the other one. That's these are all Ohio plates, by the way. Obviously, we live in Ohio. 71, 72. Those are actually good years for cars back in them days. 61, 60, 65. Mercy. Alright, so this is the automotive repair shop, and within the last couple of years we built onto it right there, this little garage. My son parks his Tesla in there. Now we're back to the backyard. The video is about to come to an end. I want to thank you for taking time to watch my video. If you're not already subscribed, I would appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button for more content. Hit the like button, the notification bell, and I thank you.